Hey everybody, this is David at Barnyard Bees. We're looking at one of our late fall splits, and it looks pretty good, pretty healthy. It's got some growing to do before winter gets here and late fall, but we'll look into it and see just how they are faring for late September. Today's the 25th, I believe, September. There's a frame that they still got to draw out. If you're doing any late season splits, depending where you're at in the country, here in North Georgia, we're getting down to the bare minimum of doing splits where you can get them built up enough before winter and to get them strong enough. So just depending where you're at in the country, it's the deadline's kind of getting pretty close. It depends where you're at. There's a frame right here, the next frame over, pretty much all honey, a little bit of pollen. We're in goldenrod flow right now, so the bees are been bringing in, even though it's been dry, they're still bringing in a lot of pollen and nectar. This frame right here, pretty much mostly brood, cap brood, larvae, eggs. Possibly see the queen on this frame here, but it has been a dry. Look at the bald-faced hornet trying to get on there. If he would have landed, they would have balled him up and killed him. They're very protective this time of year. I do have a veil on this morning. They seem pretty calm, but kind of alert. But as you get into fall, let's talk about fall a little bit. The bees, right there's your queen. There she is, good laying queen. She's doing really good. This split right here is doing excellent. I couldn't complain about it at all. She's laying a good pattern. This is mostly all cap brood, and looks like she's laying as they're hatching out. Now, a lot of people will ask, okay, when does this queen slow down and what makes her slow down when it comes into the fall? Well, there's different reasons that cause her to slow down. One is temperature, which we've not had a decline in temperature yet. The only decline we've had is actually in the morning, where it's been just a little bit cool, but it's still like 65, 70 degrees in the morning. So temperature here has not been an issue whatsoever. Length of days has a lot to do with it. Yes, our length of days is getting shorter. Yeah, it's getting darker earlier and daylight later. So that plays a lot into how your queen will lay. Nectar flow. We're in a goldenrod flow right now, so that's not really an issue. They're still bringing in pollen. They're still bringing in nectar. The queen keeps hammering. They keep going. Now, as this slows down, and as you get into October and get into a good frost and it kills off most of your goldenrod, you'll notice a big decline in the way your queen's laying. And then by then, your length of days is getting shorter and shorter. The temperatures are getting colder. There's less pollen coming in, less nectar, which means she's going to throttle down and not produce as much population. She'll stop laying. Not stop laying. She never stops. A lot of people think in the wintertime that the queen stops laying. I've just, for experimental reasons, have got into these hives in December and January when we'd have warm spells, and the queen never stops laying. She always lays. Now, a lot of that depends too on what she has in supply of her colony. If she has a lot of pollen and nectar and honey supplies, and that means a lot. And that's why we're a big believer in feeding pollen throughout the fall like right now we have a pollen feeder, they're not touching it. And if you ever try feeding pollen and you say that they're not eating on the pollen, well, there's reason for that, because you got a flow going on. You got a nectar flow, but also pollen is coming in as well. And especially if you just have a handful of colonies, they don't need it. But once you get a good solid frost and that goldenrod dies off, you'll notice a huge increase in how much they will start feeding on pollen. Now be careful with this. Here's what I try to teach people. Feed pollen throughout the year, throughout the winter, but also make sure that they have enough honey supplies to back that pollen up, because pollen will increase queen egg production, and therefore they need more to eat. It's just common sense. So make sure you're once you get out of the nectar flow, that you're feeding, and even offer sugar water to them now, 1-to-1 ratio right now still, because you still want to increase population. We're not trying to feed honey right now. We're trying to get them to keep building up, building wax, because as we're doing splits, they need to draw out wax, so we're doing 1-to-1. And as you get into late fall, with about late October or November, we'll start feeding a 2-to-1, because we know they throttle down so much. So you basically want them to store more honey, and that'll help you back up that pollen, which will increase their population, and also it'll give them something to feed on. So it's a balance. It's an equal balance, and it just takes experience to learn how to do this. Some people will say don't feed pollen because you starve your bees out in the wintertime. Well, you wouldn't have starved them out if you would have fed them right through late fall. That's what I've experienced, and it works very well. It's just an equal balance. So just remember, the queen, the reasons that she slows down is the length of days, the amount of pollen and nectar coming in, and how cold it gets. So as it gets colder, the length of days slows down, and lack of pollen comes in and nectar, she will slow down her production, because instinctively they know that they need to slow down their production. And then they prepare for winter, and your winter bees, basically, the longest living bees are the ones that are born pretty much like right now. They will be the ones that will make it through the winter. Some of the younger bees in there now will. A lot of these older bees will die off. But some of the nurse bees now, and the bees hatching off between now and late fall, will be the ones that survive and make it through the winter. And that will be your spring colonies that will start over again in early spring and start building up your colony again. So just a little touch on that. Another thing I want to talk about, we are going to have another coffee bee chat. It's November 23rd. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So what we're going to do, we are going to have a coffee bee chat that day. And what we're going to have like our Black Friday sale. What's equal to everyone else's Black Friday sale, we're going to have it that Saturday before Thanksgiving. We're going to have a lot of stuff on sale, some drawings that day, and a lot of door busting sales that day. So we're going to have a lot of things marked down really cheap. So if you can plan between now and November 23rd, and we'll have a lot of beekeeping supplies on sale. You won't find these deals anywhere else. I can guarantee we'll beat anybody's price that day. So come be with us in. And also what we're going to have for people that can't show up at the store that day, we'll also have internet sales going on from that Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then we'll mail the supplies out for Tuesday. So we'll also have compared to what's like a Cyber Monday sale. but it'll start November 23rd, and we'll have a lot of sales. So please, you won't be disappointed. Please check that out. And also another announcement is we will have one more week of queens and we're done. The drone population has pretty much shut off. They're starting to kick out the drones, and we have very little drones left, so we cannot, it's getting harder and harder to produce queens. So the first week of October will be the last of our queens. So if you need a queen from Barnyard Bees, order it between now and through the early part of the first week in October, which is next week. So limited supply. So it could be shut down anytime on our website, barnyardbees.com. If you need a mated queen, you can go there, but like I said, any day it could be shut down completely. So if you need one, get on there fast, because this is it. We're done for the year. So keep that in mind. If you need some queens or beekeeping supplies, barnyardbees.com. That's about it for today. Don't forget, folks, please help share our videos. Click on the little bell. You'll be notified of new and upcoming videos. Like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Barnyard Bees.